I had NatWest after me, chasing me for money. I had, literally people knocking on the door. I had to liquidate the business. I had personal guarantees against it. I was broke.
Walking day today, and I am in Cambridge to meet a man who will be familiar with many of you TikTok aficionados. It's Tim Hayden. He sold his house, started a watch brand for his own kitchen, and has followed the journey throughout on TikTok, and it's grown into the fastest growing watch brand in the world. Shares a lot of stuff online. Very excited for this. Let's go see where he is. We've got a problem, haven't we, Tim?
Yes.
So
We could hurdle.
This is the walkway. This is where we want to walk. How we get to it, there's a lock and everything. I think we might be in someone's garden. Let's try again.
Let's go around the side.
We're getting stopped by trains now. I've never had a more difficult to do walk, Tim, so far. This is
well, I'm glad I bought something.
Against you. We've done it.
We've done it.
We've done it.
We can see water.
Amazing scenes. Thanks for coming for a walk, Tim. I know you're a busy man.
I am a bit busy, but this is beautiful today, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it? The River Cam in
Couldn't
Cambridge.
have picked a better day.
Have you been here before?
Not to this part. I have been to Cambridge before. Did a bit of work here. Did a challenge here.
Oh, nice. Let's very quickly before we start. For people who don't know your stuff, can you just give us a potted history of your life? I know that's a big question, but just to give people an introduction of what you do.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to grow a global watch brand from my kitchen, and I'm growing it through social media. That's a very, very quick and shortened version of it. But we've now got to a stage where it's starting to grow quite significantly.
Yeah, my brother introduced me to you a few years ago, and you've basically just been, am I right in saying you sold your house to start the business, which is risky?
Yeah, especially at my age.
Yeah.
When you say risky, a lot of people said it's mad.
Well, obviously not. I mean, I like a gamble. It's fine. But yeah, I think you've done this, put the money into this watch brand, and as you say, you've done it through social media. Am I right in saying it's the fastest growing watch brand in the world? Is that correct?
It is now, yeah, the fastest growing watch company in the world, yeah.
But what I love, my brother introduced us. He's been talking about your content for ages. Is that at the beginning of your journey, it was like, I've sold one watch sort of thing. And you've been sharing all this as you go along sort of thing. And what were the sort of lows at the beginning? What were the tough bits early on?
God. Well, when we first started the business, I went live and we sold 6 watches in the first 6 minutes. And I thought, blimey, this is going to be amazing. And then I didn't sell another watch for 6 weeks. Then we sold a few more, and then I went another 83 days without selling a watch. And I even got to the point when I was running the business, I actually forgot I was running a watch business. We were selling so few watches. And then after a few days, go, hang on, I've got a watch company. What's going on? To be honest, it was just a part-time thing when I started. But then when I started seeing some momentum, and I thought, this could be something really big here. This could be something really big. So I just decided to go all in.
So did you start it with the intention of, I'm going to do this through social media?
Yeah, but I didn't really know how social media worked. All I had was a Facebook page I was sharing pictures of my kids with, so that the grandma could see them, the normal sort of thing. I didn't have an Instagram. I'd never seen YouTube. TikTok wasn't even invented then. No idea what Twitter was. And then I just went on it. I just thought, right, I better learn quickly.
It's working for you.
It is working, yeah.
It's working for you. What, you're doing well in America now as well?
Yeah.
Going out there at the end of the week, or later this week?
2 days' time.
2 days' time.
I'm there for 2 months.
So what are you doing when you're out there?
I'm just making a nuisance of myself, really, and just pestering people and just showing up at different places. What we do is, through social media, is I've gamified the whole approach to marketing. So I run these things called the Find Tim Challenge, where I turn up in a random city. I say, right, the first person to find me and say, love your journey, will win a watch. Love your journey is the strap line to the business. And I get, it starts off really slowly, where I'll get 1 or 2 people coming. And now, I think the record's 155 people have run up to me. That's in Pittsburgh. Yeah, so it's gone crazy.
It's mad that you can be anywhere in the world and people are
Yeah,
coming up to you wherever you are.
I know, it's crazy.
How have you adapted to being recognised and people knowing who you are? It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. I remember the first time it happened when after lockdown, because we'd all been inside, and I had a mask on. I walked into a pub and someone came up to me and said, "Love your journey," and then they bought me a pint. So at first I thought, this is quite good, because I had about 3 pints bought for me that night in the pub, and I thought, this is good, I like this. But to be honest, it hasn't, I know people say, it hasn't changed anything really. It's just nice when people come up, because people are being nice.
People are nice, aren't they, generally?
Everyone's genuinely nice. You get a lot of people, you get quite a few people like trying to film you in secret, or you know, the sort of that candid camera thing. But no, I've been enjoying it. It's been really nice.
Yeah, fabulous. And so you're out to America this week. You're going to Alaska.
Alaska, yeah.
It's going to be good, isn't it? I've always wanted to go. Anchorage.
Anchorage, yeah. Well, we've gone in the summer, so it's not minus 20 degrees or anything like that. So we're going in the summer this time. It's going to be great fun to see, you know, if we get found there. I'm pretty sure we will. I've already done a Find Tim challenge in the Arctic Circle in the North Norway, and I was found in 11 minutes.
Whereabouts in Norway?
Border.
Okay.
There's a football team there. There's one football team there.
Norway's a brilliant country.
Oh, fantastic.
I've been to Stavanger quite a few times because I've got a friend out there. It's great. Beers are expensive.
Bloody expensive, yeah.
That's the only downside. Otherwise, I'd be there. Although I don't think they're expensive if you're Norwegian, because you earn loads more money if you visit Norway. Although my friend's saying that with exchange rates and stuff, it's not as bad as it once was. I've not been out for a while.
No, it was really expensive when I went there, yeah. Incredibly expensive, yeah. Couldn't get drunk in Norway.
What did you do before watch business?
I was in IT. I had some IT businesses, which was incredibly boring. I mean, I did the businesses and they were good. It's lucrative for a while, but I was just so bored of it. I was just so bored. Nothing creative about it.
So what sort of stuff is it, as in sort of...
Services, IT services, yeah. But it's really, really boring side of the services. It was removing all the old IT equipment and recycling and that. So it wasn't even exciting. It wasn't anything to do with new technology. So it really was the boring end of the business. I was actually semi-retired in my 40s. I got to a stage and I thought, oh, God, I just want to work a day a week. So I set up the business, so I just worked a day a week and then I could spend more time with my kids. But then my kids started getting older and I thought, I better get back
something
out there.
to do.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Why is it that you're doing the business? Is it for, you say, you're semi-retired sort of thing? Presumably it's not a desperate desire to be rich or thing. Is it the fun of doing something? Is it building something?
Absolutely, yeah. It's also, I think I got to a stage where I thought, gosh, have I actually fulfilled my potential? Which when you're sort of in your 40s and you're looking around and you're looking at other businesses and other things that have happened, other people around you, thinking, am I really fulfilling my full potential? And I realised I wasn't. And then when the opportunity came, I thought, well, there's no bigger challenge for an entrepreneur than to try and grow a global brand. I thought, well, I don't want to live with regret of not trying.
Yeah.
So just one day I just thought, fuck it, let's just go for it. Let's just go for it.
Yeah, brilliant. How did you? Because I've got 3 kids. You've got children. George is here helping you out, sort of thing. How when you had your businesses and you're doing it, how did having kids affect your attitude towards work and business?
Well, you realise what's important, really, then, don't you? You realise that there's some things the family and the kids and spending time with them is most important. That's why I was semi-retired in my 40s, so I could spend more time with my kids. And I wanted to stand on the side of the football pitch or the cricket pitch, whatever it was, and watch them play. And then, but yeah, it gives you a different perspective on life. I think in my 30s, well, especially in my 20s, I was a real flash arsehole, basically. Just trying to, when you're always trying to climb that ladder, going, oh, I need to go to the next rung of the ladder, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then you get to a certain stage and you think, there's more important things to life than chasing cash.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but when I first had my daughter, she's 12 now, when I first had her, it's not that my ambition went, but the value I placed in work to a degree just sort of dropped. As in, I was like, before I was thinking, I want to build something, I started thinking, I don't really care about that. I want to do work stuff that now enables me to spend as much time as physically possible with my kids, and to be able to do the school run, and
Yeah.
to be able to go and go to
Because
the
you
park
can't get
after
that
school.
time back.
No.
You know, you've got to be present, I think. You've got to be present there with your kids. Yeah, but now I just want to get rid of them and move on.
I'll get to that point. But you get to the I try and
Yeah,
think of
yeah.
that all the time. Like, there's bits when I'm lying on the sofa. Like the other day, I was lying on the sofa and my youngest son Arlo said, "Can you come on the trampoline?" And it's hot.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go on the trampoline, I'll be
No.
honest. But then I said, at first I said, "Oh, I'm a bit tired." And I thought, do you know what? There's going to be a time not that long ago where I'll do anything to be able to go on the trampoline with
Yeah.
them again. Not that far in the future, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? But actually, do you know what? Yeah, I will go on the trampoline and sort of things like that. It's things like that that.
How old's your kids?
So my youngest Arlo is, hang on, I've got 6. Otto, my middle child, is 9, and my eldest is 12. We've got 3 kids, all born in April, 3 years apart. We've got like a mating season like animals. so as long as you know how old one of them is, you can work them out. And because
You
of
work
that,
backwards.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
because it's April's not that long ago, they've all just had a birthday. So you have to go, hang on. But I know my eldest is 12, so I can sort of go backwards from there and work it out. Thing.
It must be an expensive month for you, mate.
My birthday's April as well.
Oh,
We've
right.
got 2 cats recently, and their birthday's April. So, a big month. It's only my wife who's not born in April. She's July, so there you go. Mrs. out. Do you like walking?
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of it?
I try to for my mental health. And do you know what? I notice it when I don't walk. I notice things start to slip in my life. I try to go out. I go through phases where I go for a walk every morning. I try and do about like a 6K walk. And it starts my day off really well. And it's when I get out of the routine of doing that, I can feel things in my life slightly starting to slip.
Yeah.
It's just small things like that.
Yeah, I love it. I walk. I mean, I tend to walk as a default if it's an option. Like, I've not walked to Cambridge from Norwich today because I had to get a train. But I did walk about an hour to the train station. So we've only just early on I walk. I've already done my 10,000 steps so far, sort of thing. I do enjoy it, and I like the sort of, as you say, the mental health bit. It's nice being out. When you walk, are you walk with music or are you a walk with the sounds of nature?
Do you know what? I either walk with the sound of nature or I go live and do a live broadcast on TikTok.
Always working, aren't you?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I look at my day and I think I've got so much to do, and you know, time is your most important commodity. And I think I'm going for a walk. If I do a live broadcast at the same time, I can connect my audience and get the walk done at the same time. It's what kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
I'm always looking at ways in which I can do things like that.
Yeah, I do. I'm training for a marathon at the minute. I'm not very good at running. But I've done 4 marathons, but that makes it sound like I'm good at marathons. I'm not.
Right.
I try and, if I have to do running or I become a beast in a matter of days. So I'm doing the Lisbon Marathon in October, and I find when I'm doing marathon training, there's a lot of long Sunday morning runs where you're not going, you can hold a conversation, it's not that hard to do, but it's a long time. So I will sometimes then just get my phone out and do a little, while I'm running along, just do a little live
Yeah.
then, and just fit them in. But I sort of forget to. Do you find, are you quite structured in when you do social media things? Do you have any sort of targets and things like that? Is how you organise it? Because it's a business
Yeah.
for you, sort of thing. Or do you say I need to get something out every day or every so many days, or what?
I used to. The thing with doing that is that some things, things in life get in the way of that. And then I used to beat myself up thinking, God, I haven't done that. Or I used to get into a situation where I'd be with someone or a family member or a friend. I'd be thinking, I've got to get a post out at 6 p.m. I've got to do this. So now I don't think like that because it is kind of destructive to your normal life. But yes, I mean, I look at the figures of the business and I have targets and I have things to achieve. But I don't beat myself up if I can't do them anymore. That's really been a big change for me over the last 3 years. I think I was a lot more frantic a few years ago. But there's so much activity needed to build a brand. I mean, I get overwhelmed if I think about how much work I need to do and what I have to do for this business. It's overwhelming. I mean, we're recruiting at the moment. We're going to start a clothing brand. We're going up to America. I still haven't booked all the hotels yet, so we've still got those to do. I'm flying in 2 days. We still haven't got the car hire sorted. So when I think about all the work I need to do, if I think about it too much, I get overwhelmed. So I just try and take
Yeah.
it bit by bit and not beat myself up.
And what's brought about the mental change from actually beating yourself up over it to now not?
But doing more exercise, physical exercise. Right. I mean, we were in. I just spent 3 months living in America with my son George. We lived out of Brooklyn, and one of the first thing we did when we got there was join the gym.
Right.
Just so we could get the physical exercise going.
You're looking in good shape, if I may say. You look
Well,
a physically fit man.
I look like a bloke who goes to the gym but also likes pizza.
Well, that's the way.
And that's life.
There's no point in going to the gym and not having the pizza, is there? I mean, why are you bothering? Yeah. Oh, amazing. Should we do some more walking?
I think so. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Lovely looking church over there, isn't there?
It's a beautiful spot here.
Do you like a church?
I like church to look at, not to really. I'm not.
No, I'm not really. I'm not at all. But I think they're some stunning businesses, some stunning buildings. I think. Yeah.
Fraudulent slip there.
Yeah.
It's not a business.
Yeah, no. But I love it. If I see a church, I'll always go and have a little look around if I'm travelling somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's the stained glass windows that I like.
It's one of the things though that's is so British, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know there's churches all around the world, of course, but I mean, if you go to somewhere like America, they don't have the rich heritage that we have. You know, there's nothing old there really.
Yeah, I remember when I lived in Vancouver, and I remember seeing a building, and it had like a plaque outside, and it was like this really old building or something like that, and it was from like 1904 or something.
Yeah.
It's not long ago. And we went down, my friend Sally and I were travelling around the States in like 2005, and we were down in, I think, Savannah, Georgia, I think it was. Georgia? Savannah? I think so. We were down there, and there was this really old house that you could go and look around. So we went, let's go and have a look around it. We're looking around it, and we're going, and we think, yeah, it's interesting, obviously, and all this sort of thing. And Sarah went to me, she goes, my parents' house is older than this.
Yeah,
sort of thing. And it's different sort of levels of history, isn't it?
I've got a pair of socks older than this building.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a place in Dallas, in the middle of Dallas, there's a log cabin, and it's one of the first settlers' log cabin, and they've preserved it, and it's like a little museum piece.
Oh, wow.
And you walk around and go, God, this is amazing, and then you see the age of it, and it says 1872.
Yeah.
And at the time, my house was older than that, and I just looked at it and thought, I live in a house older than this. And my house, I think, was about 100 years older than that log cabin.
Wow. Yeah.
Incredible place.
I've just, on the subject of history, but also history that I'm interested in, I went recently for a YouTube video, I went to Ireland to visit the world's oldest pub.
Oh, wow.
It's called Sean's Bar. It's in Athlone in Ireland. Very
How old
old.
is it?
So it's from the 900s.
Oh, wow.
But they've had it. There's a lot of what I've learned in researching, particularly in England. There's a lot of liars around age of pubs. There's people that claim this is, or our pub was in the Doomsday Book and all this sort of stuff. And it generally turns out to be nonsense a lot, because just because there was once monks brewing beer in this place doesn't mean it was always a pub and stuff like that sort of thing. So there's a lot of debate, particularly in England. There's a lot of different claims, and whatever history blog or whatever article you read, there are always very differing opinions on what the truth is. But the Guinness Book of Records has sort of verified Sean's Bar in Athlone as the oldest in the world.
Oh, right.
And it's got, I think it's the Museum of Ireland has analysed the walls, and they're made of like horsehair and stuff like this. And so they've carbon dated all these sort of things and that. It's a fascinating place. We went there we had a night out there, and we went there the next day to talk to the landlord or owner, or whatever he is, a guy called Timmy. And it's such a different place from the day and the evening, because in the evening it was like a local pub. We were just sat there, there was live music, we were chatting to an Irish family who were local to the area, sort of thing, spent the evening with them, and it's like 3 generations of Irish people. And then during the day, it was like tourists from Germany or Japan, like taking photos, trying like half a Guinness, going, stuff like that. So I think it was amazing how different it is. But a fascinating place. When you travel around, do you get to do you spend a lot of time looking at historical things or seeing the area, or are you too much of a rush?
Yeah, it's too much of a rush. I mean, every time we go somewhere, we get I get sent messages or comments saying, "Oh, you must try this, you must try that." I'm thinking, if you realise what my schedule is when I get in here, because we get to an area, we need to prep where we're going to go. We need to just scout the area to see where's a good place for me to do the challenges, where's a good place to film. And so we're in and out. We usually get to an area on the Friday, do all the scouting on the Friday, go live on the Saturday, and it's just full on. And then on the Sunday, we do another little challenge as well. And then we're out, and then we're on to the next place. So it is moving around. But we do walks around all the cities. So every time I go somewhere, I do a walk around live. And so I do get to see it all, but I don't pop into museums. Or, I can't get to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've just done earlier this year, we did a tour for the podcast to do Happy Hour, and I thought I'd be able to go and see more stuff and do things and all this, but you don't really get that much time, particularly if you're travelling in the morning. By the time everyone's got up and out and about, by the time you get to the new place and you've checked into your hotel, you've got such a small window before sound check and all this sort of stuff, which is literally, there's places I've been to that I've just seen the tiny bit between the hotel and the venue and maybe popped out to get a burrito for dinner or something like that.
Well, I've got a newfound respect for these rock bands that go around and do these tours and that just go from hotel room to stage to airport to this. The last trip, one of the last trips I did last year, end of November last year to America, we did 11 days in America. We had to catch 8 flights and 2 different trains. We stayed in, I think, 9 different hotels in 11 days. And I got back and I was absolutely knackered. Mentally, I was gone.
Yeah.
I was just too much. It was really, really hard. And I thought, how do these guys... It's obviously a young person's game, the rock and roll scene, going around doing those tours. But it was tough.
It's
really
exhausting.
Tough
and you feel... I feel like embarrassed saying it's hard. Because you sort of go... Because people look at it and go, you do like 2 hours a night, just messing around on stage sort of thing. That's not hard, and I get it, but it is draining just travelling
living
around.
out of a suitcase, and you're looking at it, and then and also your eating becomes bad, your sleep pattern changes, and it was only that one trip was only 11 days, but when I got back, I needed a couple of weeks off just to try and recover.
Yeah, I'm still not recovered. I feel like I've been to war.
Maybe that's our age.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm sure I could do it a lot. I'm sure the other guys I was with who were a lot younger, they seem to recover a lot quicker than I have.
Yeah.
The other thing I was learning about, when you talk about rock bands touring, at a certain stage when they're doing arenas, our tour manager on tour was telling us that the way the O2 is set up, it's like a sort of template arena. So in America, there's something like, I'm getting these numbers wrong, 20 or 30 places that inside are identical to the O2.
Oh.
So that if you're a big touring production, you know exactly how to slot in your stage and everything in these things.
Just fits everything.
So if you're a band travelling around, you're turning up in this place, you are literally in, apart from the fact it's got written on the steps, welcome to San Francisco, or whatever like that, you're in the same building every single night. And apparently quite often they'll have on the steps around the thing, they'll have written on it, so-and-so arena, Illinois, or whatever it is, for the band to look out there and go, I am in so-and-so. And I'd always thought beforehand, how out of touch must you be to not know where you are? Second day at the Happy Hour tour, when we were in Reading, Jack said at the end of the show, thank you, Birmingham. Second day we've been doing it, and it's happening. So I get it, and I understand now how difficult it must be.
Yeah.
Have you always liked travelling?
Loved it.
Same.
Absolutely love it. I think it's one of the best educations to give your kids. I always say it to my kids, just get out and about, and if they're looking or not too sure what to do, just get a backpack and just go around the world and do something. I think it's just wonderful meeting other cultures. It just spreads your circle, doesn't it? It makes you realise what a massive world and what a big opportunity you have.
Yeah, I'm the same. I always I'd very much encourage my kids to do. I think it's the best thing that my mum encouraged my brother and I to do was travelling. And it doesn't have to be hugely expensive to do. Yeah. I mean, it's going back 24 years now. But when I left to go and live in Canada for a year, I had a return flight, and £1,000. And I just went out there, got a job, and just sort of potted around for
I mean,
Come along.
one of the things I'm doing now, so I'm combining all the things I love. I mean, I'm at an age now where I don't need to impress anybody, buy anything, do anything. I did that in my 20s. I got that. That's well out of my system. So now I can just do what I love. I mean, my loves in life are travel, cricket, my kids, entrepreneurship. And at the moment, I'm getting to combine all of those. I'm using cricketers to help promote the business. I'm doing a lot of work with my son. I'm going to travel the world. I'm meeting loads of people because I love interacting and meeting people. And I'm building a business at the same time. I've got, to be honest, it's absolutely perfect for me. It's absolutely perfect.
I think that's the key, and that's the thing I've been trying to do since I had kids, is design work around my life design work to give me the life I want rather than working for money or something like that.
Yeah,
and everything
absolutely.
I do is sort of a factor of like, if I do this, will it either help me spend time with my kids? Will it help me travel and do things and all that sort of stuff like that? You say you love cricket, I love skiing, and people on this channel are very bored of me talking about skiing all the time, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm thinking about when I go away with friends skiing, I'll make a video on this. And I'm thinking, then my plan is, if I can start getting free ski trips to make videos, that's the master plan with all this sort of stuff like that.
That's brilliant.
So it's good to tailor around your interests and what you're into.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your favourite country you've ever visited?
Oh,
It's tough, isn't it?
yeah, well, it is tough, but I also kind of don't want to say because I go to so many places, I don't want to feel funny. I went to South Africa at the beginning of this year.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing some work for charity out there, so I went to see what's been going on with the charity work. It was also a good excuse to go out there and watch a bit of cricket as well. Yep. And that area around there, I went to a place just outside Cape Town called Paarl. It's a valley outside, but it's just north of Cape Town, and it is stunning. Wow. It is unbelievable. Waking up there, we were staying in this hotel, and we came out in the morning, it was a courtyard, breakfast, and overlooking a vineyard, and then the valley, and then the mountains. It was just unbelievable. I sat there having breakfast, and I ended up sitting there for about 3.5 hours. I didn't want to move.
I love those things. I love it. That's what I like. That's one of my favourite things about travelling is eating and drinking. I don't necessarily mean booze. I mean, even though having a coffee or something, just in a nice place.
Yeah.
I went to the start of the year to Barcelona, which I think is the city I've been to most outside this country. I have friends out there, and I was there literally every couple of weeks for a bit in my 20s sort of things. When I was working at Soccer AM, I'd fly over there every other weekend to stay with friends and stuff. And I just walked up to the top of Montjuic and got a coffee and just sat there for ages. This is what it's about.
Yeah, Barcelona is fantastic.
Barcelona is fantastic.
It is. It's nice to walk down the Ramblers there as well.
Yeah.
It's just a random place to sit for coffee or meal. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm taking my kids there in the summer. We're going on I like travelling, I like adventure, and I'm going with another family, so there's 10 of us. We're getting the train to the south of France.
Oh, wow.
So, do you know, I could get the train from Norwich to Barcelona in one day. We'd have 8 p.m. in the evening.
Oh, wow.
Barcelona. I'm not doing that. We're taking a much more leisurely approach. We're going to travel over, spend a night in Paris, have a day travelling around Paris, then get a sleeper train to the south of France, then local trains down to Barcelona, a couple of days in Barcelona, train down to Murcia, and then at the end of it, we're flying back. But
that's cool.
I think a nice little adventure.
I've got a question for you then.
Okay.
On the reverse of that, what's the worst place you've been to?
The worst country?
Yeah.
Or worst, can I do worst cities? I don't know the entire nation.
Yeah.
Tijuana in Mexico, because
Really?
Mexico is
I
a
really
city.
wanted to go there.
Mexico is a country. One of my favourite places. I spent a month there in my early 20s, and I adored it. It's one of my favourite places. But Tijuana is this place where the worst people in Mexico and the worst people and the most naive people in America go, because you basically get loads of 18 to 20-year-old Americans who can't drink in America go getting drunk, and the worst people in Mexico who go, I want to take advantage of 18 to 20-year-old Americans, and they combine in this place. And I'm not the most street smart people, but I've been living in Canada for a year. I've travelled around a bit, sort of thing. But you just look at people and go, this is not going to work out well for you, sort of thing. Seriously, people getting conned.
I was so close to Tijuana. I went to San Diego, which is just north, isn't
Yes.
it? Just north,
Yeah.
to the other side of the border. And I just didn't have time to go down. But I looked on the map. I thought, God, wouldn't that be great? I've heard so many things about Tijuana. But is it a bit of a cesspool?
It is. It's interesting. I'd recommend you go, but it's not a place you'd want to spend a lot of time. I checked into a hotel that was quite cheap. Thought, this is nice. I was basically the only person who booked it out who was not a sex worker or utilising the
or drug
benefits of it. Yeah, essentially. So I was like, it's horrendous.
So those are the two good things to What are the bad things?
No, I mean, one person's good and one person's bad. Depends what you're interested in, what your interests are. But yeah, for me, it wasn't for me. But Mexico is a country I absolutely adored. I'd love to go back.
Never been.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I mean, I just sort of travelled around with no real aim with a couple of friends. A friend who actually lives in South Africa, my friend Donna, and a guy called Disco Jace, and we just sort of travelled around.
He sounds interesting, Disco Jace.
He is interesting. Yeah, he's Australian. I haven't seen him for years, ever since then, really. But we sort of all worked together in a ski resort in Canada, and then we just sort of went travelling around for a month. But it was great because I'm old enough to remember the Mexico '86 World Cup, so we went to look around all these stadiums of the first World Cup I really watched in my youth, and so that was really interesting. Just the food, the way you can get these incredible tacos on every street corner, mango in a bag of mango, one of my favourite things. You just get these people just selling like mango that they cut up, and it was like the freshest, nicest mango ever, really cheap. So I just constantly go around and get a bag of mango wherever I went. I'm salivating soon. So if someone was starting up a business now and they wanted to use social media, from your experience of doing it as successfully as not many people do who've had more success with that as their primary strategy, what would you advise someone?
Well, first off, I think you have to be yourself. Social media is very transparent. I think if you try and pretend to be someone you're not, that's going to, people can see straight through that. But the most important things there's three things: consistency, persistency, and patience. So many people give up too early.
Yep.
You've just got to keep going consistently, day in, day out, putting out good content, solid content, which is just consistent message.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
That's easy then.
It's easy as that. Go home now.
Very good. Do you get people coming and asking you for entrepreneurial advice?
Yeah.
A lot?
Yeah, all the time. I do a lot of lives, so I get asked a lot of questions about it. I think a lot of people about entrepreneurship, what stops them is fear. The fear of doing it, the fear of losing, the fear of being shown up in front of other people, the fear of losing money, the fear of risk. It's all those things. So it's just fear at the end of the day, because at the end, entrepreneurship isn't rocket science. There's no special skill set for entrepreneurship. It's just a mindset. That's what it is.
How did you get in? What was the process of you starting up your first ever business back in the world of IT?
Oh, wow. Well, I always wanted to be a businessman. I always wanted to do it. I always thought it was something somebody else did, and I didn't think I was good enough for it. Until I started mixing with some entrepreneurs, and I thought, bloody hell, if you can do it, I can do it. I mean, bloody hell. I couldn't believe it when I actually started meeting some business leaders. I was thinking, geez.
You get that, don't you? I do meet some people and go, my God, that's incredible.
How the hell have you made it?
Yeah.
But you have, and you've made it through persistency.
Yeah.
So when I first started, it was a business for my friends had started, and I bought into it.
Right.
I'd literally just been sacked from my job, but I had a lot of money coming to me from commission that was owed to me, and I thought, gosh, what do I do? Do I go into another job? Then I saw my friends were running this business, an IT business, and I bought a 20% share in the business.
Right.
That's my first ever venture. I was 30 years old. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Not a clue. I look back now, I cringe.
And did they have a clue what they were doing?
No, that was a problem.
Yeah.
I went into it thinking, they all know what they're doing. I'll come and join them. And then I went in with them, and they were all a lot older than me. And within a week, I thought, bloody hell, what have I done? What have I done here? I think I've just lost my investment. I literally wanted to get out straight away.
And did it work out well?
Well, no. Well, I ended up.
I thought it would be a glorious story where it was. But then we made millions ago. No. I was homeless for 6 years.
No, no. What happened was a couple of them found out that two of them were nicking from the business. These are the things they don't teach you in school or college. What it's really like to run a business, because business is about dealing with people, dealing with the suppliers, dealing with your customers, but it's also dealing with the people internally in your own business. And it's how you work on those relationships. That's the most important part of a business, the relationships you have with everyone. So I found out that two of them were stealing. So then we went down to 3 partners, but then we started working, and then another one dropped out, then another one dropped out, and then before I knew it, I was on my own.
Wow.
And then I could implement everything I wanted to do, and then I started growing it.
I think a lot of people with businessy things, they don't know how to start, or they don't know, like they know I want to run this business, and whether it's raising capital for it or whether it's just the very basic sort of thing. Very generally, sort of how do you do all these things? Because that's going to be about how do you find out how to do these things?
Google. I know I didn't have Google when I started out, but I mean now it's so simple. I mean, all you have to do is Google how do I start a business, and it will tell you the mechanics. Because the mechanics of starting a business is quite simple.
Yeah.
You know, you just follow a structure, you follow formation. The things that are difficult are people understanding how can they finance a business.
Yeah.
You know, where do you get the money from? And it's, you save. You save to start a business, or you borrow to start a business, or you start a business with nothing and you leverage your customers, or you leverage your supply chain. That's it really.
Yeah.
I'm making it sound very simple, because it is very simple starting a business, but what isn't simple for a lot of people is making that jump from having that security and that safety net of an income from a normal job to doing it for yourself.
And also I find talking to people as well and just asking questions, I find sometimes people can be really scared of being embarrassed that they don't know the answers to something like that. And I find a lot of the time, like when you don't know something, if you're honest, people love to help. When we were organising this happy hour tour, I don't know anything about live tours, and I asked around who was the best person, who were the best comedy promoters in the country, and loads of people kept saying this company, Phil McIntyre. So I basically got someone to put me in touch, went for a meeting, and the first thing I said was, we do not have a clue what we're doing. We know how to do podcasts, we know how to do this, we don't have a clue what we're doing about this, so you're going to have to explain absolutely everything. And they were absolutely fine with that, because
people love help.
Yeah, people love help.
I think the worst thing...
Is that noise? Is that train?
It's 11:32.
To London, probably.
11:32 to London. Yeah, I think that holds a lot of people back, because they fear it's a weakness if they say they don't know how to do something.
Yeah.
When really the biggest strength you can have is understanding what your weaknesses are and asking for help.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you've done it as well. I mean, gosh, the number of mistakes you make.
Oh yeah.
Starting or doing something. I'm making mistakes still now every day. And it's continually a continual learning process.
Yeah, I was on a business podcast once. They were talking about success and failure on things and saying this. And I was sort of thinking, I don't really say, they were sort of framing it like if a business doesn't make us money, it's sort of a failure sort of thing. But I don't think it. I mean, on some regards, I suppose you could say it is. But I think from a personal level, sort of thing, they're not. You learn stuff. Whatever you do, you learn something.
Yeah.
And that's...
I've had businesses go bust.
Yeah.
I had a business go bust. In 2008, I lost everything in the crash, and that was a huge lesson.
How did that happen?
It was in well, what happened was I had a business at the time which I was going through due diligence to sell it for a lot of money. I'd gone away on a holiday, and I received an email whilst away saying that the sale wasn't going through anymore. And then also I received an email from my biggest customer that said we were pulling out of the industry as well. So all of a sudden I was left with this big infrastructure that no one wanted to buy, and I lost 40% of my business, like literally overnight in the crash. And so I literally went on the holiday thinking, God, I've made it. And by the time I came back a week later, I was broke, absolutely penniless. I mean, I had NatWest after me, chasing me for money. I had literally people knocking on the door. I had to liquidate the business. I had personal guarantees against it. I was broke. I was 38 when that happened. And I was mad for ages at the UK government, the US government, Lehman Brothers, the housing market. I was annoyed with Labour, Tories. I was just angry with everyone. And that lasted for 2 or 3 months, that sort of like that feeling. And then I just looked at myself and took responsibility for it. And I thought, well, if I'd made some different choices and some different decisions, I'd have been okay. So yeah, since I took ownership for being in the situation I was in, I could manage it and get over it. But that was the biggest lesson in life. Not just in business terms, but we spoke about earlier about where your priorities lie in life. That's when I realised that money isn't everything, and it's more important then to be around family, and it's a real resetting for me of my priorities in life.
You mentioned taking personal responsibility for things, and I think that is the realisation I've had. It's made more of a difference in my life than anything, and the thing I encourage anyone to do is take absolute responsibility for everything. It doesn't mean that things are your fault necessarily. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong, but it's 100% your responsibility for what's happened, to deal with what's happened, and all that sort of thing. And it's like, if I start a business with someone and they steal from me or something like that, then I think, well, you know what? I need to learn how to vet people better.
Exactly.
And I need to work out, because these things are always going to happen, things are always going to go wrong. But if you take responsibility for dealing with it and solving the problem, then it's like a superpower.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people will always let you down. Even if they've got the best intentions in the world, there will be something they'll let you down, and you'll let down other people as well.
What train's that?
Where's that? Which way does it go?
That's the 11:37 to Cambridge North, I think.
Oh, okay. But taking responsibility is the biggest thing to learn in life. It's the biggest life lesson. Lesson. When you can look at yourself, not through rose-tinted glasses, when you can look at yourself really, and you can almost go through an exercise where you can write down what you've done on paper. And when you look at it on paper, rather than filling emotion in your head, and when you look at it in black and white and thinking, I fucked up there.
Yeah.
I can't do it again. Actually, one of my bosses once said to me ages ago, one bit of advice, he said, don't ever be frightened of making a mistake, but if you make the same mistake twice, you're a f***ing idiot. In layman's terms, I think he's right.
I think, that for me, that personal responsibility thing is absolutely key. And I remember I was thinking the other day about music lyrics and what lyrics have sort of most affected me in my life. And Noel Gallagher gets a lot of criticism for Oasis lyrics, sort of thing, particularly early on, some of the things. But there's a line in Live Forever that's, maybe I will never be all the things I don't want to be. Now is not the time to cry. Now is the time to find out why, or something like that. And that was I was like 17 when that album came out. It was such a powerful thing to hear. Go, I need to look at myself, and if something's not happening, then what can I do about it to do that? And it's been, amazing ever since.
Well, actually, I've got a lyric from a David Bowie song, Quicksand, of the Hunky Dory album, and he said, I'm not a prophet or a Stone Age man, I'm just a mortal with potential of a Superman.
That's good as well.
That's a good line.
Yeah, amazing.
I actually had a tattoo because of that line.
Did you?
Yeah.
What's the tattoo of?
I've got the Superman emblem on my shoulder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because of that.
Because of that?
Yeah. The only tattoo I've got. It's a profound moment. I looked at it and I read it and thought, bloody hell, we've all got potential to be anything we want to be. But it's down to you to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. But it's been an absolute joy going for a walk with you in such glorious surroundings. It's a canal boat.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Going down there. I don't think it's a canal boat. It's not a canal, is it? Just a boat. I don't know what the definition is.
It's a long, narrow boat.
Exactly. If someone wants to check out your stuff, or already buy a lovely little watch,
okay.
Modelling one there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What would you? Where do they go? What do they do?
Okay. Well, we can go to a website, which is hagleywest.com, or follow me on my socials. Hayden.Tim on Instagram, and Tim Hayden 6 on TikTok. Got the 2 million.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Right, before we go, love your journey.
Oh, love your journey.
Amazing. Let's get off. Cheers for watching. Back with another walking video soon.
I would describe it as the sort of country of 75%. It's like everything's 75% done right.
Yep.
Like the buildings are 75% completed, the roads are 75% okay, and